Welcome to the Chapter 1 podcast, your inside look at the people powering Charlotte's business scene. Real entrepreneurs, real stories here in the Queen City. We're here with Brandy Aldrich of Photography by Brandy Lee. And Brandy, thank you so much for being on our show. Let's start at Chapter 1. How did you get to Charlotte? What brought you here to Charlotte?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here. So what brought us to Charlotte? I'm born and raised in upstate New York. My husband is from New York as well. And my background is actually not in photography. It's in graphic design. And I've been in brand and marketing world for over 20 years doing that. And that's what I was doing up there for a brand and marketing firm. And my husband actually worked at the Baseball Hall of Fame, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
So up in Cooperstown is where we were. And back when the NASCAR Hall of Fame was starting to open up, they brought him down to help open the NASCAR Hall of Fame up. So that's actually how we landed here through my husband. Yeah.
Awesome. So do you miss anything about New York?
My family.
Yeah.
I don't miss the winters or any of that. But I have 4 sisters and my parents, and they all live within 20 minutes of each other. So we were the only ones that kind of jumped shipped and headed south.
Have you liked Charlotte? Like, what are some of the things about Charlotte you really enjoy?
So at first we hated it, but we had promised ourselves to give it 5 years and see how it goes. And by the time we had 5 years in us, we had a home, we had children, we had already had kids. We were ready to stay. But there's so much to do.
Yeah.
The kids in sports and all that, you don't get that out in the country with the cows. I like that. The weather's nice. Yeah.
Charlotte's not bad. Coming from Miami, I didn't think that I would adapt to it too well. I'm on the other end where it's this feels like the Arctic for me. But it's slowly grown on me.
Yeah, it is I think if it was a bigger city when I first moved here, I would not have handled it.
Oh yeah.
It was it was small enough where I felt safe and comfortable walking around. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your kind of professional journey. I know you mentioned that you didn't start off in photography. So where did that start, and how did it eventually lead to what you're doing now?
Yeah, so in college I did photography classes and all that, but my focus was visual communications. And so I still do that. I still work for that same brand and marketing firm up in Albany, Vibrant Brands. And so I actually went to my boss and said, hey, what do you think about me working from home when my husband had gotten the job? And he's like, are you pregnant? And I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to ask me that. But no, I'm like, we're moving to North Carolina. And so he gave it some thought overnight and said, you know what, let's try it for 3 months, see where it goes. And so several years later now, here we are. I still work remotely from home doing that. We have a variety of clients doing all different kinds of projects. And then COVID hit, and it was really slow. And a lot of my clients that I was working with were, I did a lot of event marketing stuff for them. And so it was really slow. And so being a creative, I needed a new outlet. And we actually, we moved, bought a new house during COVID. We needed a little more space. It was an older house. We decided to renovate. You couldn't get anybody to renovate during that time. So my husband said, let's do it ourselves. So we did. We while I was renovating a house, we were living in it with 3 children, and it was hectic. But I thought that I needed some more creative outlet, I guess. And so I thought, maybe photography. I had always loved it. I had a camera. I took pictures of the kiddos. I had always wanted to start a business, but I didn't feel like I was ready to. And then I decided maybe newborn photography in the hospital was a good place to start. I love newborns, and I really love the hospital.
You're about to tell me that didn't work out.
Yeah, it was great, and the meeting the families, the staff in the hospital was great. But I I was working 4 hours for the brand and marketing firm still, and then doing 2 days a week doing that. It was long hours. I was photographing, could be up to 8 babies a day.
Wow.
And it was a lot. And then I was missing my family at the time. So, that didn't work out. But right about that same time, I found a mentor who believed in artwork on the walls and not just getting digital files. And that's something that's really near and dear to my heart, because I know the importance of it. And so I decided that's when I, jumped in and started my business with her guidance.
And how long ago was that?
So I started January 2023.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that transition, just because I think for most people, it's the, for a lot of people, it's eye-opening because it's a lot different than they imagined, because they're going from working for somebody else to doing their own thing. But for you, what was that transition like from saying, okay, here I am, somebody's going to tell me what to do, and I might like it, I might not, but I'm going to get my paycheck and move on, to I'm actually going to start creating something myself and seeing where that goes. What was that transition like for you?
Yeah. So for me, my setup with the branding marketing firm, I had a lot of freedom that a self-employed person has. So I had flexibility with my schedule. My boss is wonderful in that aspect. Where the difference is when you're self-employed, you set the bar of how much you make in a year, right? And so I think that's been very eye-opening for me. And I also got so where I could see the difference. Lost my track of thought.
No, that's okay.
I think the microphone's making me. Is it going in and out, or is it just in my headphones?
It might just be in your headphones. If you want to twist this guy right here, it might help it be a little more. Yeah, it's just the one side.
Okay.
Sorry if it is going in and out. It's just in your headphones, Marco. She's coming through clear.
It's just in my head.
Okay, it's all in your head. I can re-prompt that question if that's helpful.
That'd be great.
And you were already kind of halfway through your train of thought, so you can start it wherever you'd like, because Marco will do all the editing. But for it sounds like that you had a little bit of that entrepreneurial experience working for the branding and marketing company you were with prior to doing what you're doing now. But what was that transition like? What were some of the things that maybe you didn't foresee, in the world of entrepreneurship and being able to manage your own time? What was that like? Yeah,
so I guess it is nice to see like that you set your own bar as far as like what your financial goals are and all that. Something I'd never imagined was how much I'm out of the house and how much I'm networking and how much I actually enjoy that.
Yeah.
Having worked from home for so many years and just juggled kids, and I would be in my sweatpants and, just babies spit up on me, working away behind the computer. And now I'm out and just those connections, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
So talking about networking a little bit, and just one of the biggest obstacles to overcome, I feel like, in starting your own thing, is realizing you've got to find your clients. You've got to get people in the door and interested in whatever it is that you have. What has that been like for you? Over the years to when you started to where you're at now, as far as marketing and networking and things like that. How have you gotten your clients?
Yeah, so a lot of it is just word of mouth and, talking to people, building those relationships. My business model is set up in a way where I am serving my clients at a really high level. I like to think of it as, I don't do mini sessions. And that to me is like your fast food restaurant. It's quick and transactional. And I love to spend more time with clients, and be able to really build the relationship and understand who I'm photographing before I even pick up the camera. So that's been really great.
So it sounds like, and now I'm interested because I know that what you do is a little more unique in the sense that you've already mentioned it's purely digital, is not necessarily something you're interested in. What are some of the more unique aspects of what it is that you're doing as compared to other people that are doing photography?
Yeah. So I really focus on like celebrating my clients with finished, finalized artwork that's ready to hang on their walls. So they get it. It might be a framed, matted in frame piece. It might be a more modern acrylic, but it's completely done. And I'm delivering it to them with the hardware and the white gloves all ready to just be hung up on the wall, versus sending them a gallery of 100 images and them trying to figure out what to do with it.
And how does that process work? I mean, are they coming to you saying, hey, this is exactly what I want, where I want it, all these things? Are you kind of taking the reins there? What does the process look from, hey, I want a photo to the finished product?
So most people don't realize something like what I do exists. So there's a lot of education that goes along with it. So a lot of people are just reaching out for a photo session, and I have a conversation with them on the phone. It's a discovery call where I kind of get to know them and explain a little bit about how I'm different. And from there, we do an in-person consultation, and I love to do that in their home. And this allows me to really get a feel for their home space, how they use their home, who the people are, if there's any, the family dynamic, and really understand, are there any struggles that they're going through right now, or is there anything they're wanting to have celebrated? And then I customize a session based on what we talk about. So if I just had a senior consultation the other day, and she really loves books and reading. And so I was like, what if we just go to the library and we like photograph you with a stack of books that, all your favorites. And so it's really customized to each person. And then after the session, we do a in-person ordering appointment where they see a curated selection of the images put in a slideshow. And at the end of that they get to see mock-ups of what their artwork would actually look like on their walls. So I have photographs of their walls, and I, put if we talked about a framed piece or canvas or whatever, I'll put that right in there so they can see exactly how big it's going to be above the couch. And that process really helps them kind of narrow down and make a decision that day. So then they place the order for whatever artwork they're interested in. And then after that, I will work with the professional labs and get everything printed and produced for them, package it all up in a pretty gift wrapping, and deliver it to them. So
in your experience with that, is there like a target market? Are there a certain demographic of people you're typically working with? I mean, what have you seen over the years in doing this?
Yeah, so it's usually not your DIY person. It's somebody who appreciates being served, appreciates somebody being like somebody guiding them. They don't necessarily have the creative vision, and they want help doing that. It is a premium service, so generally it's not for everybody. And there are some people who just want a quick photo session every year, and that's fine too. But
yeah, so not necessarily specific, but a little more of a broad.
Yeah.
So obviously, it seems like you were given some direction from your mentor. Is there a heart behind choosing to do it the way you're doing it, as far as staying away from the digital and moving more towards getting the actual wall art hung? What about that speaks to you?
Yeah, so it's actually a story. I have 3 kiddos, and my older 2 kiddos, when they were born, I had beautiful newborn pictures of them, and they used to hang in our old house in the living room. And that was for me. I didn't really think anything much of it. And then about 5 years later, my youngest was born. Life was really chaotic. And then COVID hit, and then we moved. And then, like I said, we renovated our house by ourselves. And it was 3 years before I was ready to decorate the new house. And I remember that day very vividly. I was getting some of the old pieces out, and my daughter saw one of the portraits, and she said, "Mommy, is that me?" And she was so excited. And I looked down and I said, "Oh, that's your brother. Isn't he so cute?" And I went about what I was doing. And then she's like, "Well, what about this one? Is this one me?" And I was like, that's your sister. And it was in that moment I realized like, oh, life had passed and I had not gotten anything printed. And I actually had thoughts before that the older two were going to be the ones who would be upset because the youngest had the most pictures taken of her, right? But they don't get to see all the ones that are on my Facebook feed or in the cloud. So I let her pick out which photo she wanted to have framed and hung with the other two. And it was like Christmas morning. She was so giddy. She just gushed on that little portrait when it arrived. And she's so proud of it still. She's 7 now, and she's so proud to like show people that photo. So that's really what when it clicked that like how important artwork is. It's not just for us parents, but it's for our kiddos too. It can really, it's very powerful.
Yeah. So what part of this process do you really like? Do you love? Would you say you love the most? Because obviously there's the finished product portion of it, but then there's the creative part of actually taking these photos and producing them. So what's your favorite part about the whole process?
I think the end, like being able to like see my clients unwrap their artwork. And, the tears of joy and just the emotion that they have when they have this final piece, and being able to give them that final thing instead of just getting them part of the way there. That feels very right. It feels like the right thing.
Yeah. If somebody else was kind of in a similar boat where they've been working for somebody else, but they're transitioning to that more entrepreneurial direction in whatever way, what's a piece of advice that you got that you think might be helpful for them, or just a piece of advice you can give to them?
Yeah. So one of the things that always sticks in my head is I am a perfectionist, and I like to know all the things before I jump in and start something, because I want to make sure that when I do it, it's like perfect. But you often have to fly the plane while you're still building it. And so just like jumping in and trying something, even if you don't have it all figured out, like some things you just got to grow through and go through and figure it out. And so that would be like, don't be afraid to just jump in and start.
Right. So, thank you so much for being on with us, Brandy. If somebody was trying to get in contact with you, if this sounded interesting to them, how could they reach you?
Yeah, so my website is Photography by Brandy Lee. It's BrandyLee. And you can also find me on Facebook the same way, or on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on with us. Again, I'm Greg Prins, the Chapter 1 podcast. You can find us on Spotify, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Links below. This has been the Chapter 1 podcast.